Hello, everyone, and welcome to the That Being Said podcast with JAA. I am your host, the here and now of podcasting, JAA. And I hope everyone's having themselves a wonderful day wherever it is you are, a blessed day. And it's been an eventful one at that. Today, which is Saturday, for those watching or listening a couple of days later, at 12 o'clock, the YouTube Cypher 3 dropped. So I guess we're kicking off community calendar right off the bat. So here we are. YouTube Cypher 3 dropped, it popped off, and it had talent from all over the place. Crypt, King Blitz, Dax, Futuristic, Crank Lucas, Mercules, Echo, Honey Koofies, Samad Savage, Carly X, Farrell the Earthworm, Aston Larold, Dilemma, and No Life Shack. And that collection of artists absolutely destroyed it front to back. Another YouTube Cypher in the books. Very impressive, and I'm very impressed again at the level of delivery that these ciphers they bring, and they bring every single time. It's been a recurring conversation topic between myself and my guests, these YouTube ciphers, for different reasons, including my guest today, Holla At Krazy, but more on him in a little bit. And one of the most creative ways I've seen a diss dropped on Monday, Jekyll and Rain and Triple Ice did back-to-back premieres. They set this up. So Jekyll and Rain together dropped a song called Nuke. Immediately, as that song ended, the next premiere started. The countdown was going. Rain drops Mayday. Then right after that, Triple Ice, he drops Ashes of the Barrel. From what I can understand, it was a diss to BOTB and somebody named Jen specifically on Jekyll and Rain's behalf. I know that Triple Ice was coming at somebody called Casual Cheater. So I don't know all the details of the story, but I just thought it was so innovative how they did that. Back-to-back premieres. Big shout out to my buddy Jekyll and killing it on that. As you all heard on Monday, because I plugged the hell out of it, but I will plug it one more time. On Friday, Blake G dropped his Lost in Translation album. It's his debut album. It's available now for streaming everywhere. Go check that out. What an amazing artist, and it's a great record, very versatile, and I can't put over enough the importance of the versatility of that album. I did a whole spew on it if you want to watch last Monday's episode. Futuristic, Still on the Rise album. It drops May 12th. iTunes, wherever you stream your music, it'll be available. There's a music video out right now for the song OG Now with Chris Webby on it. Young Dub of the Dab Gods is dropping his Forsaken EP on May 20th. It has features from Yogi Bars, Blaze the Messiah, TK Green, and others. And that's going to be worth checking out May 20th. And that's going to be available again wherever you stream your music. And speaking of TK Green, and I owed him this, I meant to shout this out last week. He dropped his album Chasing Dreams of Organized Chaos. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, you name it, it's out there. Check that out. He put a lot of work into this album and tried to make it versatile as well. Wonderful, wonderful collection of songs. Elijah Kyle dropped the Glass Half Full LP back on May 1st, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Very talented young artist, and he's going to be someone to keep your eye on in the next year. Dax dropped a music video over the last week and it's for cyberbullying. That's the topic of it, and that's what he's addressing. The song's called Joker, and it has a powerful message. The video was very, very well done. I thought it was a next level production, even for him, whose videos are usually on the higher end of everything. So that's worth checking out. It's great when artists use their platform for good like that. Let the audience know, look, I know what you're going through. I'm going through that in my own way, in different ways. So big props to Dax for that, and any artist that uses their platform in such a way. King Blitz dropping the music video for Kingdom. If you're watching this Saturday, it drops tomorrow, Sunday, but for everyone else, it will have dropped on May the 10th. And Kingdom is one of the lead singles, I believe, off of his album that's upcoming. And big shout out to King Blitz making big moves. I was so proud to see his name on the cypher, and then to hear his verse. Just, he's really worked really hard, and it's been such an organic growth, and I've watched it. And I mean, I watched how even on Twitter, he would just start asking daily questions. How more and more people got involved with that. So I'm very happy to see his growth. Vin J has announced his Prophecy album. It drops May the 29th of 2020. So obviously this year, I don't even know why I'm dropping the year with it, but May 29th, Prophecy drops, Vin J. You can pre-order it now, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. And this is going to be a great record, and I may as well use this time to announce that Vin J and I spoke this week. He's going to be next week's guest on this show, and we talked about this album. We talked about the importance of some of the songs on this record, and it's coming up in the scene. So definitely want to keep your ear out for that. Big thank you to Vin J for talking to me this week, and I really want to see the Prophecy album do excellently. He deserves it. He's been breaking his ass all year for this moment. Finally, Screw is bringing back Screwed Up Saturdays, and a lot of great songs came out of Screwed Up Saturdays. He did that song with Quadeca last year, along with many others, and it's basically every Saturday he drops a new song, essentially with a video, and that's really awesome because I think people have been waiting for new music from Screw, and it's always cool to see him doing his thing. Today's guest, Holla At Krazy, and we're talking about the reaction community, and I think it's an interesting thing what reactors go through. So they work hand in hand a lot of times with these artists and react to their music, and I never knew this until about a year ago, getting more introduced to this community specifically, but the relationship between a young artist's growth and the reaction channels, it's kind of one of the ways that the world's changing, that the music world is changing. The reaction channels are so key to your success and for people to hear your songs. But at the same time, when you're a reaction channel, there's a lot of requests from your fans. They want to see you react to as much as they can see you react to because they genuinely enjoy you. But at times, you could have a video, let's say you're reacting to the YouTube Cypher, and all the comments are asking you to react to this, react to that, react to this, react to that. It have nothing to do with the video that they're actually watching. And at some point, do you start questioning, do I have ownership of my channel anymore? Do you try to follow what the people want, but then there's limitations? We talk about that. And I think that that's an interesting facet of being a reaction channel that a lot of people don't think about. And I respect the reactors for everything they do, and I've grown to have a new respect for reaction channels. The only reaction channels I'd ever watched was when Dragon Ball Super was airing in Japan. I would keep up with it every week, and I would tune in on YouTube to see how different people were reacting around the world. Did they think this was as cool as I did? That kind of thing. I say that in the interview as well, but that was really my only experience with reaction channels. And I remember looking up the Final Fantasy VII Remake reactions because I was so stoked. I wanted to know that other people were as stoked as me and I wasn't just losing my mind by myself. And I think that's cool. I think that's why reaction channels actually have the base that they have, is that people want to know, does somebody else feel how I'm feeling about this song, about this topic, about this video? What are other people saying? What are other people thinking? And I think that's interesting because YouTube, for all the crap that everybody does give it, has this never-ending supply of finding those answers. And we can knock the algorithms, the ads, and lots of other things about YouTube, but the convenience of being able to find those answers is second to none. The most first world thing that I can possibly think of, right? Finally, I announced Vin J as the guest for next week, which is huge, and I appreciate that Vin J talked to me more than you guys know. Really cool. We met in Brooklyn at Crypt show 2 months ago, and it was really awesome to hang out with him, Joey, Crypt, and it was a great night for all of us. It was a great night. But I have a guest, 2 guests coming on that I'm going to announce now. So I did an interview this week, and this seems so out of my ballpark, but God's good. God works. When I put this show into God's hands, this is what happens, and this is what I truly believe. But I have award-winning Christian film actress Jen Gotzon and her husband Jim E. Chandler on the show. I did an interview with them both. Her husband Jim did motion capture work for Red Dead Redemption 2 as well as voice work and has been in a number of films. She's been in countless films. I'm a huge fan of hers. So interview-wise, this was probably the most I felt that I needed to keep my composure throughout. And she gave me some breaking news, the whole nine, and I am more than humbled by the time that she gave me. Look up Jen Gotson when you get an opportunity and look at her IMDb. Even look at her husband Jim's IMDb. You will see that they have been in the industry a long time and that they've accomplished quite a lot. Quite a lot. And I'm super blessed that they came on this show. And I think that's wonderful because the first episode, I said I did not want to be limited on this show. I didn't want to just speak to musicians. I wanted to speak to people all over the place. So an actor and actress, a couple at that. I really feel like that expands my horizons quite a lot. And I feel very blessed that they came and spoke to me. And you guys are going to get to hear that interview. I don't know when just yet. I'm gonna probably announce it within the next 2 weeks or so when I'll drop that. That one might be a Monday. I'll let you know. That being said, we have Holla At Krazy in the house, and yeah, we're talking YouTube reactions, we're talking video games, talking it all. And thank you guys again for tuning in today. Support everyone that was shouted out in community calendar. Big ups to everyone in the YouTube Cypher, and we'll talk at the end of the episode. All right, I am here now with one of my favorite people in the entire scene and one of the coolest guys that I've met over the course of the past year, meeting people within this scene. Holla At Krazy, and we're on the road to 100K, baby. How you doing, brother?
Sir, what's good? How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Crazy times we're going through right now. How have you been holding up with everything going on?
Listen, looking at these same four walls over and over is not fun.
Oh yeah, but I've been seeing you streaming some games and stuff. You've been playing a lot lately?
Actually, I haven't been. I started streaming at the beginning of like the whole pandemic, but since then I've gotten tired of everything. Like I've watched everything on Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, played every game. I don't know what to do with myself now.
But you and I, we got that in common. We're both big Final Fantasy VII fans. How do you like the remake so far?
I'm going to say it's not as good as the original, but it's worth it. It's good. Well, I don't know. I just don't like the whole Midgard setup. I wish it was the whole game, but it's coming. How about you?
Same, man. I felt very similar about it. I gotta try it turn-based. I think I might enjoy it more turn-based. I really am not the biggest fan of that Kingdom Hearts style battle system. So when you're playing Final Fantasy, you're trying to do that turn-based, get your attacks in, your magic in, but in an organized way.
Yeah. So you didn't play 15 at all then, did you?
No, my brother was super into 15 though.
It was cool. I like 15 better than 7 actually. Like if I had to pick one,
I gotta try 15.
System. But yeah, 7 is cool. It was a good refresh. But I can't wait to see what they do once they get outside of Midgard and everything.
Yeah, there's so much more to the game to go, and that's the thing. I love the original, and I think it's amazing to be able to play these characters again. So I suppose I'm grateful just for that, if not anything else.
True.
So that being said, wink, wink. Want to talk a little bit about your career, man? How long have you actually been on YouTube?
I've been on YouTube since I think 2016. But I didn't really start taking it seriously till like December 2018 when I started. So yeah, December 2017 is when I started taking it serious. When the Eminem what album was that? Revival. That's when I started taking YouTube serious. Well, semi-serious. I really didn't start taking it serious till like a month ago though.
Why the change?
I don't know. I always wanted to do YouTube, but it was like I'm not saying I didn't believe in it, but like I didn't see the doors that it could open. And as soon as some of my friends got up there and like myself, I seen like the doors that open when you actually put your heart into YouTube. And I just wanted to make it a viable career. So I'm tired of working actually, so I rather do YouTube.
Is there a reason that you went towards hip hop in general with your reactions? Even outside of just that, what compelled you to go for reactions per se?
Well, see, my friend was actually telling me for a long time to do reactions, and I never did them. He was like, yeah, you should react to this, music. I do hip-hop because I grew up on hip-hop. There's a lot of, like, R&B type styles that I grew up on, too, but hip hop was in front of me. So my friends kept telling me like, yeah, do reactions when this drops, and I never did it. So I did one. I love music. I just never thought to do reactions because I didn't know YouTube. I watched like 3 or 4 people, and that's I watched like Ali A for gameplay, this 4 Y'all ENT for vlogs, and this dude Jeffrey Almonte for like he talked about stuff that was going on in the world. That was all I knew about YouTube was those 3 people. So uh, once I did the reactions, I actually like doing that content, and it's something I could do like on a daily basis. That I wouldn't have to involve other people in my life, like trying to do vlogging, and it just kind of stuck after that.
One thing a lot of people don't know is that you're an artist yourself. You're a musician. You rap.
But
You do different things. When did you start? When did you start writing, and when did you start performing music yourself?
I started writing, I think when I was like 9 or 8 or something like that. I used to put stuff on like MySpace back in those
Oh
days.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just did that because I had a whole bunch of instrumental sitting around the house. And I said hip hop was right in front of me, so hip hop instrumentals just sitting in the house. And one day it was a summer, and I wrote my first rap to like a Young Jeezy instrumental, and ever since then I've been doing it.
I've been noticing you're kind of slowly getting back into it as well, at least on a public manner. I'm sure that you never really stopped writing music and playing music. What has kind of compelled you to take that step?
Well, mainly because people ask me now. Like before, when I did music, like when you're coming up as an artist, like you're trying to get people to listen to your music. And I was like writing in an era where it was like, that's when like music really started drifting away from lyrics into vibes, and I was a lyricist. So once I figured people didn't really like the type of music that I was making, I kind of ventured away from it. And I actually had a group, but we ended up that ended up breaking up. And then I got into battle rap. I did that for about 3 years, and then since then I just didn't really rap that much. So doing reactions, people always ask me. I would do like little funny freestyles in my video. And Marcus from Crypt, he actually knew I rapped, so he put me on his album, and then people realized like, oh, you're actually pretty decent at rapping. So that's why I'm kind of now more people are, oh, he can rap. You want to be on my tape, or can I get you on a verse for this song? So that's how I started doing it. I probably won't like start on the project till I'm able to do like YouTube full time.
That's really cool. And I had no idea that you had a background in battle rap also. See, I'm learning too today. And that's really interesting. Were you doing anything kind of like what 6 Seconds was doing, or how did that go about for you?
I'm not really sure about 6 Seconds, and I did see one battle he did where he was like battling a dude on stage over a beat, but I wasn't doing that type of battling. I was kind of doing like the acapella, like smack style battle for a league that was birthed in Atlanta called Spit That Heat, and like Chef Trez is actually one of my like A1 friends. Like we grew up through school together, and now he's on like URL, which is the biggest rap battle league in America, rapping, and that's the path it took him on. And he's really the only reason I started battle rap, because he asked me, he was like, hey, I'm gonna start this thing. I know you're the only other person who could do it. Let's do it. So that's how that happened.
That's really cool. And it's interesting too,
Yeah.
because I think that there's a lot of people that see you in the reactions, but they don't necessarily know that about you. They don't know that your background in musicianship and the
Yeah.
fact that you were doing different endeavors. Were you going by Holla At Krazy back then as a rap name?
It was just crazy to start with. Like it was me and my cousin. His was like Killer and Crazy, and that was us, and we just rapped. That's how that started. And actually, Holla At Krazy came from his. He made his Twitter before me called Holla At Killer. So I named mine Holla At Krazy because we were like a duo at the time. We were probably like 11. So when did Twitter come out? In '07.
Yeah, like 08, 09, something like that.
So I was Yeah, I was like 11 or 12. He would have been like 9. So he named his Holla At Killer, and I named my Holla At Krazy. And since then, Holla At Krazy has been my handle for everything.
That's really cool. I think people will appreciate even knowing that. And it's a great name. It really is.
Yeah.
Holla At Krazy. It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it was like, because a lot of people call me Holla, and that started back in like Xbox days, playing on 360. People would call me Holla, not knowing like Krazy was the actual name, but it's the first thing that they see, so they call me by that. So like in rap, battle rap, I always went by Krazy, and then coming to YouTube, people just naturally called me Holla, and Holla just kind of ran as a name. People call me that in my everyday life. Like my friends call me Holla. Some of my friends still call me Krazy. So just depends on when you basically started to know me, which name you call me by.
Now you got the best of both worlds, though, right? It's on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But you do this reaction channel, and I spoke to Todd from This Offends Me TV, and I've talked to other reactors. But I kind of wanted to ask you about a certain topic, about being a reaction channel. Now, obviously, you get flooded with requests. So I guess to segue into what I'm really asking, the first piece of that is, how many requests do you think you get a day?
A day through email, probably like 3 or 4. Through Twitter, maybe. And this is, okay, so I'll say email like 3 or 4. Twitter, probably like 5 to 10. Instagram could fluctuate. Usually towards the weekend it's higher. I can get anywhere from like none to 10 or 12 a day. But where you get most of your requests, obviously, is in your YouTube comments.
That's what I was thinking. It's probably ridiculous.
And YouTube comments, YouTube comments, I would say like 70% of my YouTube comments are requests, and that sometimes don't even have to do with the actual video I'm reacting to. And that is uncountable. Like, it's impossible to count that. Count those number, honestly.
Yeah, but that's kind of segueing into where I was going. When you're a reaction channel, people request, sometimes exactly at the sacrifice of even the video that they've clicked on. It's almost like they're more trying to get the request in than actually watch you react to something else.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because I know that can even become an issue, because some people may even get angry with you if you don't react to what they're hoping you to react to. So how do you kind of gauge that and swim those waters?
So, like, people have to understand, and if they don't, like, it's like, hopefully one day they do. People have to understand, when they ask for a reaction, you're asking me to react to something and to bring you exposure. So the other thing I would hope other people would take into account when asking for a reaction is, us as a reaction channel, YouTube gives you 3 notifications a day. You're only going to send out notifications for 3 of your videos, and whichever 3 you upload first. So if there's a way I'm growing my channel with a certain fan base or a certain genre of music, at some point to react to whatever you're asking me to react to, I have to sacrifice my growth by taking away one of those 3 notifications that I get sent out the way. So that's where a lot of reaction channels come into paying for reactions and stuff like that. Well, people's cost is different. I look at it, I'm sacrificing my growth in the notification, so that's why some people ask for payment. Some people just ask for payment because that's they built a platform and you pay to get onto that platform. But that's how I feel about it. I just hope people understand that, like, if I could sit and live stream all day and just react to music, and I had somebody clip it up, upload the videos for me, and they were there, I'll react to everything. I can't. We only get 3 notifications a day.
And even beyond that, you have fans that will ask for just this song, that song. I don't think a lot of them understand the copyright system and how that could actually screw your channal in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so reacting to copyrighted music does hurt your channel, only because it's copyrighted. So, like, I had an incident with a company that wanted to sign my channel, but once they seen how many of my videos were copyrighted, the negotiations took a turn. So, a lot of people, they try to get to the stuff that they can monetize first. Obviously, like the YouTube beef, diss tracks, or freestyles by artists, or funk flex freestyles, things like that. They want to get to, but if they can get to it, like there is a opportunity cost to reacting to copywritten music. So, like certain genres that you go into, you understand I'm going into this, and it's gonna get copyrighted, but opportunity cost is the growth that you can get from it. So it's just balancing those two out.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
One thing that I had in my conversation with Todd, we were talking about, was at what point is your channel your own channel anymore when it's reaction channels? I don't think people really understand some of the things that you guys have to endure. It's a very different kind of endurance, so to speak. You guys have to you guys kind of deal with different. It depends, because it depends what kind of fans you get.
Mm-hmm.
So some fans, I think, for some of the channels are pushier than others. Like a BTS type fans can be very pushy, and I've seen that. But I don't know what you deal with per se.
Yeah, it just depends on your personality type, to be honest, because if you understand how social media works, and you can plan for your channel, then you can do that. If you have fans, like I have people who request things in my comments all the time, and I know like this isn't beneficial for me. If you can separate the two from like I'm trying to give my fans everything I want, because at the end of the day you can't please everybody. We get, like I said, hundreds in a month, thousands of requests to react to different music, and I can't. So once you can get to the point where I have to do best for what's my channel and my core people, then that's what I'm gonna do. And that's where your entertainment or your personality is gonna keep your core fan base there. So you see the people who they can react to anything and are gonna have hundreds, if not thousands of people show up to that video and watch it, but it's now their personality that's carrying their content and not what they're reacting to. And that's what will separate you from not feeling like you're in control of your channel and feeling that you're in control of your channel.
Well said. Well said. I think that's a good lesson for people maybe even considering starting a channel like that. I think they do need to weigh these things.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been that perception that a reaction channel is, quote unquote, the easiest type of YouTube channel, but I find that's very far from the truth. There's so many different waters to navigate. And like you said, there's so many different things you have to weigh out when you're running your channel. What trade-offs are you going to make to grow yourself? How are you going to make your fans happy? But one thing you do extremely well is it's your personality that I believe makes your channel so strong, and that has reflected your growth over the past year and a half.
Thank you. So yeah, like it's your personality that you like. Reaction channels, if you I tell people when they start their channel, because I've helped a decent number of people start their channels or at least get into reactions. If not, I tell them the reaction is the reason you're reacting is to get you an audience. Your personality is what's going to keep people to stay. And like people can tell you're not genuine with it. How I act is how I act when I'm trying to be funny around anybody. Like when I'm sitting cracking jokes, it's literally the same as when I do my reactions. And as long as you can be yourself, and everybody doesn't have to be like me. There's very mellow reactors who are calm, chill when they react, and there's people who gravitate towards that. Everybody doesn't need the upbeat, trying to entertain you to a T person for people to gravitate towards. You can be yourself, and you will generate. You'll be happier because you're not acting to continue to make content.
That's a very good point. When your personality shines through, it's very obvious to the audience what is and what isn't genuine. And disingenuousness on camera definitely comes across more than I think people even realize when they're trying to put up the front. People have better intuition than I think others give them credit for.
Yes.
What introduced you to this YouTube rap scene, so to speak? Obviously, YouTube rap just being almost like grunge for Nirvana, right? It's a label that's kind of thrown on to associate.
Right.
But what introduced you to this scene that we're a part of, this YouTube rap scene?
It is 100% due to Crypt's YouTube cipher. If that cipher never happened, I wouldn't know 99% of the people who did reactions. Because before that cipher happened, I never even watched other reaction channels. But then I realized that a lot of YouTube rappers also have reaction channels and also watch people react to their music. And he kind of just brought everybody. It was like a community cookout. He brought everybody, and people realized that, like, wow, there's, like, I would see people's thumbnails. Like, I would notice, like, who was doing the same videos as me as I tried to see, like, how my video was doing. But besides, I never watched anybody's channel or even knew of any YouTube rappers until Crypt did the YouTube cipher.
I said to Crypt during our interview, I said, in a lot of ways, you're like the godfather of this scene. He's like, I'm not going to take any kind of credit for that. And he's a very humble guy, but it's things like the YouTube cipher, these moments he's created that gave me the reasoning to give him that label in that interview and just in general. And I think that's a really good point because one of the recurring conversation topics I've had with everyone I've interviewed from our scene is that YouTube cipher, that very first YouTube cipher was literally a moment. It was a moment.
Yeah.
Not only just on YouTube and for the scene, but it was a moment in time, man. It was very unique.
Yes, it was. Because seeing people like, I think Dizzy 8 was in the first one, Dwayne, and like hearing them Blindsight, who else was in the first one? And some of these people are people who had hit me up before that I just didn't notice, like ask for things before. But or I would see their video like recommended on YouTube, and that moment just like I brought everybody to the table. Say, hey, like we're a community, and let's help each other grow. And that's kind of what it was.
Community cookout. That was such a great metaphor for it.
Like for anybody who's ever been to like a block party or a community gathering or anything like, or a apartment complex cookie day or something like that, like you come, you see people like, oh, I see you walk around the neighborhood, but I've never talked to you. It gives you one of those moments to like build relationships with people. And like he was like in a network web, he was like that centerpiece that connected all four corners of the reaction music community.
I think that's what's interesting about this scene. See, similar to you, I never really watched reactions. Now, I'd watch when Dragon Ball Super was airing in Japan, right? Like I'd peep some reactions to how people would react to certain episodes. I'm sure you've seen some of those as they were airing, and I just wanted to know what other people felt about the show as it was airing in Japan that were watching it here. But this YouTube hip hop scene is really where I was really introduced to the importance of reaction channels to young artists in this day and age. It's such an important outlet for them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really important for people because it gives people exposure to community of people. Like if you know, like a lot of the people like that are YouTube artists, they have a lot of the same fans, and all of that is due to, like, for example, like Dax, for example, right? Dax was very good at networking, right, with the reaction channels. And once people, like, they carry his channel from where it was, I think it was like 300K to 1 million in 4 or 5 months. Now, I'm not saying that 100% the credit of reaction channels, but that's just an example of how if you put out good art and a community gets behind it, what kind of growth you can have. And so that's basically
you're so right.
That's why people have to appreciate the reaction community.
No, you're so correct. And of course, his talent got him there, but it was so interwoven with the reaction channels, and the channels grew with him. And even with Crypt, the Crypt's grown over the last year, but the channels have grown with Crypt. it's really a give and take in so many ways, and it's so interwoven.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a part of a number of different music communities throughout my time as a musician, but I've never really seen
Mm-hmm.
the meshing of the two more than in this particular scene. But I also think, Hala, that people enjoy seeing the other reactions. Like, for example, for a song like the Cypher, they'll watch a number of different reactions on it because they want to see, did this guy pop for the same part I popped for, or
Mm-hmm.
was that bar as crazy as I thought it was? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that happens a lot too. Like sometimes, especially with like Eminem stuff, I know like I'm not gonna get everything the first time. So especially like script work, I'll watch their stuff. Because they're gonna catch things that I'm not gonna catch. I thought I was a decent bar catcher, and then they catch, and then they like blow everybody out the water as far as like analyzing bars, in my opinion. So like a lot of times I go for them. Of course, like everybody, when it has to do with like YouTube rappers, it's like No Life Shaq, because he gives people credit. He was somebody, when I found out about No Life Shaq, he was already at like 600, 700K, I think. So when he reacted to YouTube artists, like it was just good to see an example of somebody who blew up and was trying to give the community shine. It was like an inspirational type thing. He gave people a lot of codes on how to move in the community if he's successful. So you look at the people who are successful and you see the things they what's the word I'm trying to look for? You see the way they move, and you can you take in and tailor some of what you're doing, or like what you learn from them.
Well said.
And then everybody else has their entertainment value, depending on what type of song it was. So yeah.
And Jack, he even said it in a video last week when there was some beef going on in the community, but he made a really cut and dry statement, but you can tell it's
Mm-hmm.
really how he moves. He said he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fall for all this internet stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't let it heat me up. I don't beef with nobody, right? And that's something that I think
Yeah.
is important for people to
Mm-hmm.
try to utilize. And it's not about kissing anyone's ass, and you can't make everyone happy, but there's no need to go out of your way to deliberately
Yeah.
start with anybody. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he's a great example of that. He doesn't start shit with anybody. He just he stays
Yeah.
in his lane, you know?
Yeah. So the biggest lesson I learned from Shaq is back there was a song that came out where the message in the song was very divisive, but he was able to acknowledge the craft of the art, but separate himself from the message, right? And I think I tweeted out back then, like watching his video, because when I made the video, sometimes I watch people's videos after, if I get like a lot of comments saying a certain thing about my video, I'll watch other people's videos to see if they had the same, the song had the same effect on them. It made them respond in a manner the same that I responded. So while I watched his video, I've seen how he was able to say, this is the person's craft, this is the message. I don't agree with the message, so let me separate myself from it. And that day, I learned a very valuable lesson. That's the biggest lesson I've learned from Shaq so far.
And that's really cool how we can learn from each other just by seeing how one another move. And you have a very positive outlook.
Mm-hmm.
In almost all of your videos, you bring an energy and a positivity that's so needed. Obviously, there's songs where they're a little bit, let's say, more emotional or a downer. They have a very important message, and you reflect that. But positivity is obviously something, I try to project, particularly on Twitter with the morning videos. And you've always been very supportive of the morning videos. So first of all, thank you for that. But also, in your own way, thank you for being positive, because we need more positivity on the YouTube platform. We need it in social media. And I respect the fact that you do stay in your own lane, as far as you're never starting with anybody. You're never being an asshole. Essentially, you're a good dude, and I think that we need more people like you being positive out in the scene.
Yeah, I think one thing people get confused with the reaction community is they assume everybody's a critic. Me personally, I've been a critic of battle rap, right? And I've seen what it does to people and what it does to relationships and what it can do to your own ego when you become a critic. You believe that everything you say is gospel. And if people respect your opinion in a positive light, then you feel it almost inherent to human nature for you to feel a little bit more entitled that your opinion means something. But when you go and say it in a negative light with that same kind of boast or brag behind you, you can turn into somebody who dwells on negativity because negativity gets you so much more traffic than positivity. So in my reactions, since day one, there's a couple songs that I just did not like. And after I did those, I decided that if there is no redeeming qualities in this song, I just won't put out the reaction. Because I rather react to people's stuff and say what I like about it than to try to dissect your whole thing to tell you the stuff that I don't like about it. So I try to so when people react to stuff, of course there's underground YouTubers, like people who I can tell don't have $1,000, $2,000 setups. When I react to their music, I could say, wow, this quality is really bad, but I understand that's the growth of an artist. I may say, and a lot of people hit me up behind the scenes. It's like, do you think there's anything I need to tweak? I'll do that behind the scenes. But if you put that on somebody's name in the public, they have to work twice as hard to get it off of their name. So I'm going to tell you the things I like about your stuff. And if any critique needs to be had behind the scenes, people can always hit me up to ask me what I think about it. So that's why I try to remain positive and say the things I like about certain tracks. And if there's nothing I can find that I like, I just don't put the video out.
Well, to be fair, too, there's channels that you can turn to that'll give those criticisms or critiques.
Yeah.
And so it's already
yeah.
out there, that kind of style anyways.
Yeah. So I see that with like a couple of like the critique channels. And like, I just don't want to turn into one of those people. Like, I said it in one, I can't remember what video it was, or maybe it was on a podcast with Busy 8. The force people use to say the negative things, I don't know. People can't wait to tear things down. It's just human nature. And once you see success at tearing things down, people will just tear everything down. And they don't speak with the same passion when they talk positively about things. When things are good, they'll say, oh yeah, I like this. When it's bad, they act like it's the worst thing in the world. And I just never wanted to be one of those critique channels, so I just kind of...
Well, that's where the morning video was born, was really out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much negativity and so many people wanting to be critics about this and that I really felt that, especially in the morning when people were having the hardest time sometimes just getting going for their day, I felt it was just important to just say, hey, good morning, God bless you, let's get through this day together. And thank you for always supporting those videos. I really sincerely appreciate that because you've always been very supportive of that.
Your videos are really good. Like, you have a level of positivity and a level of charisma to do those type of, and those speak to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people, like my girlfriend, she doesn't like to be yelled at in motivational videos. So she takes videos like yours, and you're able to speak in a positive way, in a cheerful manner, get a message across that has people ready to get up and live their life. Well, that's a good thing.
Oh, I really appreciate that, brother. And as we kind of wind down, I want to ask you, so obviously we on the road to 100,000, and I really hope that you hit it by your birthday, but even if you don't, it's coming. It's coming. What's your biggest goal for 2020?
2020 is probably to become a full-time YouTuber where I don't have to go to work anymore and I can just build the channels of the people around me so we can live a YouTube life. I guess that's the biggest goal.
You're going to get it. You really will. And it's because you exhibit not only positivity, but you have a strong personality for it. You have a very loyal fan base. Feel like you deserve it tenfold, brother. You put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes. A lot of people don't know, but you're always working. That's something I do know about you, is you are always working, man.
Thank you.
That being said, Holla, I want to thank you for coming on the That Being Said podcast. I'm going to have to hop on your jam sometime, but I definitely want to have you again in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you want to hop on, I don't have like a strict streaming schedule, but like one of the days that I do it, feel free. Like if it's in your schedule and the car's all right, you can hop on there. I have no issue having you on either Holla Squad TV or Holla At Krazy. It doesn't matter, whichever one I end up being live on.
Nice. I would definitely love that. And I'd love to have you back on here sometime in the near future. By then, you'll have hit that 100,000.
Yeah, hopefully. We're trying to grind it out by that birth date. We'll see if we get there.
I definitely believe that you can, man. But thank you again, brother. And yes, we will talk very soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for tuning in for my interview with Holla At Krazy. Thank you, Holla, for your time again. I really appreciate you coming on the show and picking your brain a little bit and learning about your journey and your background in music. I love learning these things about people I've known, because you think you know somebody, then you go into these deeper topics, and that's what this show is all about. It's for discovery, for the fans, but selfishly, to a degree, it's for me as well. So that being said, thank you guys again for tuning in. As always, I will see you on Monday from the Here and Now. Woo! I should shake my hips again, but I'm not going to. Of podcasting, JAA.